In the headline, severe weather breaking out across the South, leading to at least 200 deaths in at least 6 states. We'll have the latest conditions for our area. Police say they now know the location of 2 men wanted as persons of interest in the murder of a local teen. And Rocky Mount police are still investigating yet another murder in the city as a man was shot as he arrived home late Tuesday night. Today, we'll also hear from Rocky Mount's Chief of Police about the latest crime statistics for the city. These stories and more coming up on NewsBreak starting now.
From WHIG-TV, this is NewsBreak 31. Now, here's Marie Torres.
Hello, you're watching WHIG-TV NewsBreak, your voice in the community. I'm Marie Torres. And severe weather is going on across the South, and that's topping our headlines today. And joining me now is WHIG-TV meteorologist Fred Holdsworth. Fred, what is the latest going on in weather?
Well, we have the tornado watch has been extended for our area until 2 o'clock. That's an extension of about 2 hours later on that one. And the high wind warning has been also extended to 2 o'clock. So we're looking at a 3-hour extension on that.
Okay. All right. And so I wanted to mention about the dozens of tornadoes that have hit in the South right now. About 200 people have been confirmed dead. Right. And we actually have video footage from someone who took footage of a tornado in Tuscaloosa. And that's a college town, and about 15 people were confirmed dead there. Tell us about that. Is this normal in this type of season?
Well, it is and it isn't. Usually you do not see the widespread outbreak that we are seeing now. This is going to be probably one of the worst Aprils we've ever had. This April is going to match up pretty well with, let's say, 2004. Now, as far as the year, we're way behind 2004. I think that year, just off the top of my head, they had something like 1,800 tornadoes, and we're somewhere around 1,100 to 1,200 right now. So there's a long way to go to catch up, and hopefully we won't. But this kind of reminds me, too, of April 1974. Mm-hmm. Of course, those tornadoes were up through the Midwest and the famous Xenia, Ohio. And I think Tuscaloosa may match up well with that one.
Right. Right. I did want to also mention that in Mississippi there were 32 confirmed deaths, 15 in Tennessee, 13 in Georgia, 8 in Virginia, and 1 in Kentucky. And the one that actually has been hitting further south of us has reached an F5 status. What does that mean?
Well, that is the top, actually, you know, we used to call them F5s, now they're EFs, enhanced Fujita scale. And that's one that is just, you don't see a whole lot of. They're just the top of the line.
All right. And so, again, in Alabama, there's about 131 deaths so far, and they're expecting that to actually climb. I
would expect that will climb, unfortunately, because in Tuscaloosa, for example, they haven't been able to get into a lot of the area that was just wiped out.
Right. And we understand that in that town there, the police station was devastated, was destroyed, as well as an EMS station as well. So
in the Weather Service office at Huntsville, Alabama, they had to get out of that. You remember back on the 17th of April when we had our outbreak here, they had to abandon the office at Raleigh.
Right. And
Huntsville had to do the same thing yesterday.
Okay. And so just reflecting on what happened is almost 2 weeks ago, basically, the tornadoes that hit in North Carolina. How is this similar, I guess, till today? We haven't had any reports at this point.
I was just looking over the reports, and very, very few so far. And looking at the radar, the strongest storms right now seem to be down in northeastern South Carolina.
All right.
And Of course, those will be moving northeastward up into North Carolina. So we're not out of the woods yet, but so far I haven't seen anything as far as reports. Now, a lot of times you'll see that, and then the reports start flooding in. They weren't able to get them out or for some reason like that, but we'll keep our fingers crossed on that one.
All right, and what about wind? How damaging can wind be?
Well, the wind in the tornado is very concentrated. It's very, very powerful. I think the winds at Tuscaloosa were somewhere around the 135, 140 mile an hour mark.
Wow.
Which you would see in a hurricane, and the hurricane being more widespread simply because it covers a larger area. This tornado that went through Tuscaloosa was about a mile wide, which is a pretty large tornado.
Definitely. And speaking of hurricane, when exactly is hurricane season?
Hurricane season's June 1st.
Okay, so we haven't even reached that yet.
No, we haven't, and that's another thing on down the road. This tornado season, if you remember back in March, we said that we thought it was going to be a strong one simply because of the cold air to the north and the much warmer, humid air to the south, plus the jet stream dipping down and moving along the frontal line between the two.
Okay.
And that's kind of typical of a La Nina season.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Fred, and we'll be hearing more from Fred later on in today's show. After we come back from the break, police are still investigating yet another death going on in Rocky Mount. We'll have more on that as well as other stories when we return.
It's back for a limited time. Every Buick and GMC is now being offered at GM employee price to the general public. Plus, you can now get 0% financing for up to 72 months too. Where? Only at Davenport Buick GMC in Rocky Mount. But that's not all. At Davenport, you'll also get something that GM employees don't even get. A lifetime warranty. GM employee price, 0% financing, and a lifetime warranty. See if anybody beats that deal. But hurry, this offer is for a limited time, and it's only available at Davenport Buick GMC in Rocky Mount.
When it's happening to you, you'll hear from us. WHIG TV NewsBreak is reporting on the news, issues, and stories that matter to you. Call us at 252-885-1814. Email us at marie.whigtv@gmail.com or check us streaming live at whigtv.com. We're your voice, ready to bring you the news.
The Country Inn and Suites is your home away from home with a staff that always treats you as family. If you or your church or company has visitors, give them a great Rocky Mount welcome with a special discount on their overnight or extended stay. Not only is the Country Inn and Suites a comfortable place, we'll spoil them with fresh cookies and complimentary breakfast. We are filled with luxuries like an indoor pool, fitness center, and a guest laundry. The Business Center includes a boardroom, connection to high-speed internet, and catering for meetings is always available. Call me, Donna Chavis, at 252-442-0500 for a tour and or to set up your corporate rate. You're always welcome as family in the Country Inn and Suites, Rocky Mount.
Welcome back to WHIG TV Newsbreak. I'm Marie Torres. Police are investigating yet another murder in the city. Late Tuesday night, Rocky Mount police say 46-year-old James Tony Cooper was found shot in his home on 2028 Brandon Lane. It's reported that two unknown black males with dark complexions, medium build, wearing dark clothing, one suspect clean-shaven, the other with a goatee, may have shot Cooper as he entered his house. Police say the suspects fled towards mobile Drive and Tom's Trail on foot. Cooper was transported to Nash General Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The PD says this is an active and ongoing investigation. If anyone has information on this case, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers at 252-977-1111. Police say they now know the location of two men wanted as persons of interest in the murder of a local teen. On April 13th, police found 18-year-old Rocky Mount Senior High School student Shaquem Avon shot in his car before it wrecked at the intersection of Sunset Avenue and Lee Street. Throughout the month, police were looking for two possible suspects, 20-year-old Antonio Richardson and 21-year-old James Rainey Jr. Richardson turned himself in 2 days after the murder for unrelated drug charges, but said nothing about Avon's murder. Police finally found Rainey and interviewed him Tuesday. No charges have been filed on him. Investigators say they are continuing to follow up on leads in this case. If anyone has information about Avon's murder, you should contact Crime Stoppers. Police have yet to confirm whether this incident was gang-related. And despite several violent crimes mounting up at the beginning of this year, last year saw a drastic drop in these type of crimes. We paid a visit to Rocky Mount Chief of Police John Manley as he shared with us the latest information on Rocky Mount's crime rate.
The latest data that the SBI released in regard to Rocky Mount's crime.
Yes. Well, Marie, one of the latest data we received from the SBI was back in the first part of February toward the end of February. And it showed the 2010 crime data over 2009 had dropped but 14.3%. We went from 4,965 index crimes down, Part 1 index crime down to 4,254, which is relatively significant. But our agency as a whole, in that particular year, we had set a goal of 15% for Part 1 crime, and we almost achieved that. And I tell people that was attributable to at least three components, and that being the community has been number one, community involvement, good law enforcement, also collaborations working with state and federal agencies, and then also a strong judicial system, both at the federal and state level. And you really can't overemphasize the community involvement piece, because it takes citizens reporting things that they see and been a good witness to things in their community, civic organizations, people taking an active part, Boys and Girls Clubs programs, things that actually involve people in positive activities tend to have a great effect on reducing crime than sometimes just enforcement itself.
All right. And the Part 1 crimes, explain to people who don't know, what exactly does that mean?
Crime is categorized in two different categories, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 crime are all the most serious offenses: murder, rape, burglary, arson, motor vehicle theft, larceny, and aggravated assaults. And that is, those Part 1 crimes are broken out into two categories as well: an area called violent crimes, and those are your person's crimes like robbery, rape, and homicide, and aggravated assaults, crimes against persons. And then you got a second section called property crimes, which is your larcenies, your burglaries, and arsons. So it's broken out in two categories. The area that we still tend to have a serious problem with in our area is the violent crime category. We have a lot of aggravated assaults, and we still as a community have too many homicides, too many senseless killings, something that we really have to grapple, try to get our hands around. And again, it's going to take those three major components working together. So while we do enjoy a reduction in crime overall, still the challenge is to try to focus on those things that are causing people to seem like to get along with one another and resorting to violence. So aggravated assaults, again, and homicides tend to be an area that we know we got to affect.
We'll be hearing more from Chief Manley next week about his scheduled retirement in the summer. Before we go to break, two reminders of events going on in the area. First, this Friday, beginning at 11 a.m., the historic Douglas Block will have its grand opening beginning at 11 a.m. This will take place at Northeast Main Street and Thomas Street in Rocky Mount. There will be a guided tour following the ceremony. And on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the parking lot of Golden East Crossing Mall near the Sears and J.C. Penney's entrances will be the community paper shredding and e-waste recycling event. This event can help you keep confidential and sensitive documents out of the wrong hands and out of landfills. You can also bring assorted electronics, and for more information you can call 252-467-4960. When we return on NewsBreak, more and weather with Fred Holdsworth. Stay with us.
It's back for a limited time. Every Buick in GMC is now being offered at GM employee price to the general public. Plus, you can now get 0% financing for up to 72 months too. Where? Only at Davenport Buick GMC in Rocky Mount. But that's not all. At Davenport, you'll also get something that GM employees don't even get. A lifetime warranty. GM employee price, 0% financing, and a lifetime warranty. See if anybody beats that deal. But hurry, this offer is for a limited time, and it's only available at Davenport Buick GMC in Rocky Mount.
We're your news team bringing it home to you with meteorologist Fred Holdsworth, anchor Marie Torres, sports reporter Edward Green, and Matt Habit, our studio guy. WHIG-TV Newsbreak, your voice in the community.
The Country Inn & Suites is your home away from home with a staff that always treats you as family. If you or your church or company has visitors, give them a great Rocky Mount welcome with a special discount on their overnight or extended stay. Not only is the Country Inn & Suites a comfortable place, we'll spoil them with fresh cookies and complimentary breakfast. We're filled with luxuries like an indoor pool, fitness center, and a guest laundry. The Business Center includes a boardroom, connection to high-speed internet, and catering for meetings is always available. Call me, Donna Vachavis, at 252-442-0500 for a tour and or to set up your corporate rate. You're always welcome as family in the Country Inn & Suites, Rocky Mount.
Thanks for staying tuned. Joining us again is Fred Holdsworth with our weather. What's in the forecast this week?
Well, after we get through today, things are going to be drastically better.
All right.
And we could see some gusty winds on Friday, gusting up around 25, but at least it'll be a sunny sky. So what we're going to be looking at today, Marie, rest of the day, showers and thunderstorms, possibly severe. That'll go on for another few hours, and then 83 for our high. Winds will be gusting up around 50 miles per hour at times. And then showers and thunderstorms maybe early tonight, and then we're out of it. Clearing overnight with a low of 52. Winds will be out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday will be sunny with a high of 75, west wind 10 to 15, gusting around 25. Friday night clear with a low of 44, winds down to around 7 miles per hour out of the west. Saturday sunny with a high of 74, northwest wind at 8. Saturday night clear with a low of 48. Sunday sunny with a high of 81. Sunday night partly cloudy, 58 for the low. And on Monday, another chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 80 and a low of 57 Monday night.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Fred. When we come back, we'll take a look at sports. Stay tuned. And we're back. Here to share with us about what's going on in sports is our sports reporter, Edward Green. Edward, what's going on?
Marie, we got some crazy weather going on,
Oh,
as
yeah.
Fred was just here telling us about. But You know, there's been games going on. We had some Easter tournaments in Tarboro that got delayed for a long time last night, so a lot of crazy stuff just with the weather right now. And I talked to one coach yesterday who their players at Nash Central actually had to leave the school because of the tornado watches that were going on, so they weren't even allowed to practice. So we're going to get to that right now.
All right.
Well, with all the bad rain and weather we've been having this week, teams have seen their games rescheduled and practices canceled. Now, that can be tricky for any baseball team at this point with only about 4 games left to go in the regular season to keep that momentum, especially for a team like the Nash Central Bulldogs, which is not only trying to make the playoffs for the 3rd straight season, but is also trying to win its first ever playoff game. Now, I spoke with third-year head coach Jeff Mizell this week for his thoughts on his team and how he's making sure they're prepared.
And Coach Mizell, you guys got off to a really quick start this year. What was part of that hot start?
Well, we put in the off-season workouts. We started back in September with some fall league stuff, and I was fortunate enough to have Pat Smith come over and work with our pitchers a little bit, and Hank Jones help work with our infielder some. So the off-season is what is paying the dividends. We went back to fundamentals.
You've been the head coach here. This is your 3rd year. You made the playoffs each of the last 2 years, and you look like you're shaping up to be in pretty good position right now to make it 3 straight years. What are some of the things you've wanted to improve on, though, in terms of not just making the playoffs, but advancing far into it?
Well, first of all, we wanted to improve our fundamentals. I felt the first 2 years they were sloppy, and we didn't look good. We didn't play well. The kids are finally bought into our system. They've worked hard during the off season. We went back to fundamentals. We not only want to make the playoffs, we want it to be the first year that Nash Central's ever won a playoff, and we want to go deep in the playoffs, whether it be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th round.
Now, you guys got off to such a fast start, and then you hit a little bit of a speed bump in conference play, but you're staying level at 3-3. Well, how did you try to keep that team together after such a hot start and to just have a few losses in conference play to keep them together?
Well, first of all, 2 of our 3 conference losses have been in Rocky Mountain. Of course, 2 of them we've been fortunate enough to have Benton Moss pitch to us. Nobody in the conference has had Benton pitch to them twice yet. So I take that as a compliment that Rocky Mountain thought we had a pretty good ball club, and they had to pitch Moss to beat us. Wilson Hunt, as you know, is just another one of those teams that hits the ball well from 1 through 9, and John Smith's a very good coach, and he coaches them well over there.
Certainly you guys are a program on the rise, but as you can see right now behind us a little bit, tarps on the field, got some rain in the forecast. How does it make it a little more difficult to keep the team focused and prepared throughout weeks like this where it's really hard to get on the field?
Well, yesterday we had the same situations. We had 9 different stations for them to work through. We basically worked on hitting, bunting, getting down to sacrifice bunt, making sure we're throwing our hands through the zone and stuff of that nature.
Now, just to finish up, you talked about wanting to win the first playoff game in Nash Central history for baseball. What are you guys still going to have to improve on to be able to accomplish that?
Well, it's like we tell the kids, it's just the little things. Our fundamentals are just about where they need to be. Our bats have been a little streaky here of late. They've been real streaky. We've got to get our bats swinging like they were swinging at the first of the year.
Nash Central is scheduled to play tonight at home at 7 o'clock against Northern Nash. Of course, that's if the weather cooperates. The Bulldogs currently sit at 15-5 overall in the season and 3-3 in conference play for the Big East. Now, in a quick Carolina Panthers update, the NFL Draft is, of course, tonight out of New York City. It's going to be live at 8 o'clock, and Friday, the second round, will be at 6 p.m. That's the second and third rounds, and the remaining rounds will finish up on Saturday at noon. And, of course, the Carolina Panthers are on the clock with the number 1 pick. Many people still think it's going to be Cam Newton, the quarterback out of Auburn, but there's a lot of indecision up in the air. And Marie, you know that with all this craziness going on, Carolina still might be looking to trade out of the pick. This could be a very unpredictable first round, so some high drama tonight.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Edward.
Thanks, Marie.
That's going to do it for us here today on NewsBreak. Stay tuned throughout the day for more weather updates, and remember to be safe out there. For WHIG TV, I'm Marie Torres. We'll see you next time.